Hello, friends. Welcome to CareersTalk, the one and the only channel that has helped thousands of Scrum Masters to crack their interviews and make a valuable contribution in their lives. So, my name is Sunil Sharma. I'm an Agile consultant based in Netherlands, and at CareersTalk, we invite various Agilists from around the world to share their valuable and a real experience with all of us. And today, I'm happy to announce that Preeti is joining us. This is the third part of the series with Preeti. We have received three offer letters from various MNCs, and I will include the link to the first two parts in the description box so you can check them later. And friends, if you are a Scrum Master and do not want to miss the latest real Scrum Master interview questions, please subscribe to our channel. Check out the Scrum Master interview playlist, which has more than 500 interview questions from various IT companies around the world. Friends, we have tons of valuable content for Scrum Masters. So I don't see any reason that why you are not going to subscribe to our channel. And if you find this session helpful, which I'm sure you will really appreciate if you hit that like button. So one like is a big motivation for me, for my team, and for our guest, whoever is coming on our channel. Okay, so with this, let's welcome Preeti. Preeti, thank you for joining us. Over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Sunam. Thanks a lot. Really, very happy to make this third session. So after a long time we are doing, but yeah, so I'll be sharing the learnings which I had in this gap, like from the second video till here. So a lot of
Wonderful.
learnings are there.
Great,
So
great.
okay, yeah, over to you. Open for the questions.
Okay, so let's start. So the very first question is, so let's say after conducting a team health assessment, you identify that the team morale is low due to lack of ownership. So how you are going to approach this kind of issues and challenges, Preeti?
Yeah. Lack of morale due to like ownership, it is actually very common in Scrum. So most of the time it happens. So there are multiple reasons for lack of low morale in the team. So that might be because of like a lack of ownership and lack of understanding their roles and what are their responsibilities. So it might be at the initial stage of the scrum team has formed. It can happen at that stage, or sometimes the team might be changing, like people are going out of the team, new members are joining, so sometimes they are not clear about their ownerships, their roles and responsibilities. So that time also there are chances that low morale will happen due to lack of ownership. So and what is the impact of this low morale due to the ownership is majorly this is going to impact the productivity and the collaboration and like even the team satisfaction. So we need to keep checking the team morale very frequently. We need to keep checking how the team is performing, whether team is having good working environment, whether they are clear with their roles and responsibilities, whether like they are owning their work, their tasks. So we need to keep checking these things. What are the different ways to check these is in my team, we usually one of the powerful tool which I mention is one-on-one. One-on-one is a meeting, but still I call it as a powerful tool because in one-on-one there are a lot of chances that like people will be more vocal. Though we have a lot of ceremonies in Scrum, so we see that some people who have joined newly or having less experience, there are chances that they might not be more vocal. So I feel it's a one-on-one gives more value, and like it gives make the people speak up when we are talking to them one-on-one. And one more thing is like on a daily basis. So most of us make the mistake that we think that we are conducting all the ceremonies. There is a stand up, there is a sprint planning, grooming, and even sprint review is there, retrospective is there. When all the ceremonies are there, then why do we need to spend more time on doing one on one? We do this mistake, thinking like this, we do this mistake. But one-on-one is actually very powerful tool. If we do one-on-one means like talking to individuals one by one and understanding that like whether they are happy in the team, what are the challenges they are they are facing, and whether they are clear with their roles and responsibilities. So, how they are going to take the ownership of the work which has been assigned to them, and are they comfortable to voice over during the retrospective, and are they comfortable enough to give the like value for the work, or so measure the work, or whether it is technically possible or not, whether it is achievable by them or not, if not, then why. So all those things, everyone in the team should be capable enough of speaking. So if they are not able to do this, then during the one on one, we will be able to talk to them, and we will be able to find out that what are the difficulties they are facing in the team. So that's the one main meeting I do, to understand them, whether team is happy, how is their morale, whether it is low or high, or whether they are performing well. So I do this for understanding. And like as we have a retrospective in the team, we will be doing, and we will discuss with the entire team. They will be providing their inputs in the retrospective. That is also a way to understand the team morale and encourage them. And the major thing is, we need to involve the team in decision making. And we need to improve the sprint planning and refinement. So how do we do this? Like making everybody give their contribution in this, participate actively in this. Then only these ceremonies will be successful. And when I say that, we need to change the mindset of people. They will be thinking that, like, when my lead is there, then why should I go and give my inputs to them? And that is, yeah, we need to change their mindset there. Like fostering a team mindset, we call here as, like, where everybody should feel responsible for the success of the project. Everybody should feel that they are responsible for their work. And when it is successful, they should be feeling responsible for that success of the project and quality of the product. So this is the major thing. And one more thing is, we say that empowerment and autonomy is one more thing what we call it. So what does this means is, so it's the key driver. These two are the key drivers of ownership. Okay, so here we will be giving the freedom to the team members to make the decision and come up with the solution if they're facing any of the issues, like any of the issues are there for the product or in the solution, they will come up with the solution. So everybody should be getting that freedom. So in my team, so usually I go with this, and I would like to remind the core values of Scrum. So in one of the core values of Scrum also says that, like, respect. So everybody in the team should be respected. Everybody's voice should be heard, and their opinion should be heard. Then they will be able to get that ownership of the work. Then there are chances that, like, team morale will be increased when they feel that they are having the ownership of some task or the work what they are doing. Then only the team will be feeling happy for the success of the product delivery. So that's my opinion. So that, yeah,
Wonderful, Preeti. Thank you for that elaborated answer. Wonderful. Let's move on.
yeah,
So the second one is that you are leading a session on the importance of CI/CD in an agile environment. So
yeah.
how you are going to explain it benefits to your team members who are unfamiliar with this particular concept? Yeah.
Okay. So as now we see that Agile supports CI/CD a lot. Okay, so before we move on to, like, before I move on to directly implementing CI/CD in the team, right? So like from past 2 to 3 years, we have started implementing CI/CD in the team. First, when I take the session on this, so first I'll be explaining what is actually CI/CD. So CI means, like, developers will be frequently merging their code changes into a central repository. So this code is automatically tested and detects the issue early. So why we need to merge the code whenever we are doing a development? Why there needs to be automatic testing facility to be provided? So we need to make ensure that whatever new changes we are doing on the work, right, on the code. So this code is it is not having more bugs or anything. It is not giving us more risk. Okay, so that is what we call as continuous integration. So in short, we call as however whenever the development is happening, so the code needs to be merged to a central repository and automatically it needs to be tested. Or whenever, if even if it is not automated, we prefer always the automation in the continuous integration. Yeah, if there is a delay in automating or something, but whenever the code is getting merged, it should be tested then and there. And next one, what is continuous deployment? So we implement the automatically deploying the code, automatic deployment of the code in our organization. So however the code is getting developed, it is getting merged, it is getting tested. It is very important for it to be deployed also automatically. Yeah, and there are multiple environments also like we consider. So we have implemented this for the production environment. Yeah, as soon as the code passes all the necessary tests, it needs to be continuously deployed to the production environment. And why we need to follow CI/CD pipeline? So one of the agile principle also says to us that like flexibility, collaboration, and frequent delivery of work. So the one of the principle of agile says that like frequent delivery of working software needs to be done. So here CI/CD is the main tool for us which helps us to achieve this agile principle. Okay, so here by going through CI/CD, so we'll be speeding up the work deployment and we'll be getting the feedbacks faster. So and it directly impacts on the customer satisfaction as well. So as we say that we should not make the customer wait for very longer time, so that like the sooner we get the feedback from customers, sooner we have the chances to understand whether our work, whatever we have done, it is as per the requirement or not, whether customer is satisfied or not. So CI/CD is the one which helps us to get the faster feedback from the customer, which helps us to move the development code to the production early. It helps us to make sure that a customer is using whatever is the functionality they are requiring at the early stage. So these are the main things of continuous integration and continuous deployment. I'll be making sure that the team is understanding the importance of this CI/CD pipeline. We call in short as CI/CD pipeline. So I will make sure the team is understanding the importance of this. And the very, very important point. So it reduces the risk. How we say that it reduces the risk is like when we have a large amount of code and we are deploying it, there are a lot of chances that we will be encountering a lot of issues. And then we will be taking more time in fixing those issues. So the CI/CD pipeline helps us to reduce the risk of getting more issues, conflicts. So most of the people who are into development, they will be aware that like how many conflicts we'll be getting when we write a large number of code. So to avoid that, so we prefer the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, that's the one thing. And in short, like out of the boundary, I would like to give an example. Like for our health condition, also we say that like eating smaller means more frequently can have several health benefits, or it reduces the risk. So though it is out of the boundary, so it relates to our CI/CD pipeline also. So how we are taking the smaller means in frequent intervals. So equal to like that only. So we will be generating the code, we'll be merging to central repository, we'll be testing. This is the continuous flow which we'll be doing during our Scrum development activities. So that helps, that reduces most of the risks. And yeah, directly we will be achieving customer satisfaction also by doing this. Yeah, that's
Wonderful,
my thoughts.
wonderful, Preeti, for that elaborate answer. Wonderful. So, friend, of course, I mean, for you guys, maybe you can just, make it a little bit short and crisp, but that's okay. I requested Preeti to make it as elaborated as possible. So that's why she's taking time and explaining in details, which is, I think, is great. Good. And on a similar practice with respect to the CI/CD, so the next question is on DevOps. So the question was actually asked is like, are you familiar with DevOps practices, and how you are going to incorporate these practices into Agile framework to improve the team collaboration and the project delivery. So the next question is on DevOps practices. So yeah, Preeti, over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very familiar question for me because I have worked on DevOps team. So I was a Scrum Master for one of the DevOps team. So before I answer this question, we need to understand what is exactly the DevOps team, or what are the DevOps practices we will be doing. Okay, so DevOps practices are actually the combination of tools, the processes, and the cultural philosophies, like which actually helps the organization to deliver the applications and the services. So it's a combination of development and operational teams together. Okay. And the next thing is like I would like to explain that like how important this DevOps practices in the team is. Uh, as in the previous question, I said the continuous improvement and continuous delivery. This is the one of the major practice which we'll be using when we are in the DevOps team. Okay. And yeah, so like in agile teams, we work for the short and iterative sprints. And the same principles are also applied when we are moving to the DevOps practices. And as I told, the DevOps, it's a combination of two teams. So it is very important to make sure that both teams are aligned. So because collaboratively, we need to achieve the efficiency and the speed, and we need to focus on the different parts of the development life cycles. That is together. So when I implement, like when I was in the DevOps team, I implemented some of the good practices in this team is I invited even operation team when the development team is team's grooming is happening, when we are doing the planning and during the development, so that like in combination both the teams should work effectively. Then only we will be able to improve the quality, and we will be able to understand each other's work, how much efforts are there when we are delivering it together, and we will be able to focus on the faster releases when we are working together, and there will be a greater alignment between the development and the operations teams. So these are the main things like which I focused when I was working on the DevOps team. And so one of the like yeah, as I said that Agile also empathizes the collaboration on the daily stand-ups, sprint planning. So as I said, so these are the main events where we can collaborate both the teams and request them to work together and focus on the improvement areas. Yeah.
Wonderful, Preeti, for
Yeah.
that. Great.
And in addition to this,
Yeah.
because we will be having a shared goal, right? So that's the main vision for us. Like when we have the shared goals, it's very important for both the team to work collaboratively. Yeah. Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti, for that answer. Wonderful. Okay, let's move on. So next question is on how you're going to manage or track your project. So if you can share that, some of your best practices, maybe with the help of Jira
Yeah.
usage and all, so that will be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Again, I would say that Jira is also one of the powerful tool which we'll be using in the Scrum. This tool is actually helpful for the Scrum framework as well, and for the Scrum Safe framework as well. So first I'll explain how it is beneficial for the Scrum framework. Okay, so whenever we say that like for a project we need to choose a tool, what is the best tool we can choose? So what are the factors we consider when we are selecting the tool? We are going to make the complex project work in a simpler way. So we are going to make the work easier for the team members. Hence, that's the main factor we keep in our mind when we are choosing some of the tools. Okay, so it is very essential to implement the clear processes and align on the tools, and we need to understand the workflow, and we need to check that how we can leverage uh, the features of the tool to the fullest their potentials, so that like our work life becomes very easy, the work for the team members becomes very easy. Okay, now first I'll be taking the, okay, when we take the example of Jira, because I have heard and I have learned in past also that Jira is a very good tool which is supporting the Scrum framework. Then what are the features are there in this Jira? So we need to make understand the team that when the work comes, so work, how big is the work? How complex is the work? Whether Jira is supporting us to make it very simpler to us? Yes, we can make it as epic, which can be completed in 1 quarter, and then we can break down it to features, which can be completed in 1 month. We can further break down into the user stories, which can be completed in one sprint. So this is how we are making a very complex requirement into smaller chunks of the requirements, and we will check whether Jira is supporting us here. Yes, Jira is having this facility to us. Jira, we can create the epics, features out of it, user stories out of it. Then comes to the tasks. We can break down into individual tasks. Yeah. When we are breaking into individual tasks, the next question comes that how we are checking the capacity of the team, how many members are available, and how is their capacity, available capacity to work on this sprint. Then, when we are breaking into tasks, we are adding the capacity of the members. We are checking and we are checking which task needs to be allocated. Whether Jira is having this facility. Yes, Jira is one of the tool which is having this facility. So we identify the assignee who is going to work on this task. We assign them, and when we assign them, and we check the capacity also, whether the capacity is overshooting or under assigned. It is that also Jira is having the facility which is really required for the Scrum team. And the next comes is work in progress. So it is very important to manage the work in progress in any of the Scrum team or any of the frameworks which we are implementing. It's very, very important to manage the work in progress. So here Jira helps us a lot. How it is going to help? We There are multiple status for each of the tasks, each of the user stories. We can keep enter the multiple statuses, where like we can mention that to do, in progress, or done. By this we will differentiate and we will pick only which is where we have the capacity which is achievable. Only those we will be picking by entering these statuses. Jira is providing us this facility to maintain the multiple status of the task or the user story, where team will be very clear on understanding which needs to be picked. If I'm mentioning keeping everything as to do, then we will go and check that which is the easiest and as per the capacity available, whether we can go ahead and fit those available tasks for any individual, so that we will be able to check using Jira, because it's a visualization tool. Everything is visual and clear on the dashboard of the Jira. So that is a good facility which Jira is providing to us. And then when the user has started working on it, then the development team member has started working on it, they'll be able to differentiate it as in progress. So by this, we will come to know, we will be able to limit the work in progress. So if everything only one status is available, like to do only for everything, we will not be able to differentiate like how much, which all tasks they are working, whether they are capable enough of completing all that they are working on. So this is one of the best way to identify work in progress in Jira. And the next comes is the access given to us, like we have admin role can be given to them, or only for the team members multiple roles can be given to them, so for the access purpose. So it is good handy also when we are providing the access to the team members, necessary access can be provided to team members. And coming to the reports, and also we have all the facility to generate the reports which customer is looking for, management is looking for, which is helpful for the team to check the velocity, how much work is completed versus how much work was planned. So all these facilities Jira is providing to us. So this needs to be conveyed to the team. And so when we have conveyed, when we have already implemented it, now the next question comes is whether team is using it effectively or not. How we are making sure that team is using it effectively on the daily basis. Yes, stand up is one of the ceremony we have, where we make sure that team is whatever tasks have been assigned to them, team has updating their hours, they're burning their hours. They are updating on the daily basis. We can provide the comments, attach whatever evidences we have for that work completion, and the management can accept, like whoever is technical lead or whoever is the lead can go ahead and accept that work which is completed. We peer review is can happen. So on the daily, all the ceremonies, we will be monitoring it, and we will be guiding the team on the daily basis how to use the Jira tool effectively, and how it is helpful for them to break their work and make it successful. Step by step, they will be able to complete their work and meet the sprint goal as well. This is how I felt Jira is more useful for the team. Yeah, that's it.
Wonderful, Preeti. The elaborate answer you are giving, I think anyone who is going to watch these sessions will learn tremendous with the help of your answers. Great. You are
Yeah.
giving kind of small courses, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. One more thing I missed to say that, like
Oh,
how it is
please go
useful.
ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
how it is useful for the safe as well, because I have used it for safe as well. So we do PI planning, and we do the iteration planning in that. Like some people will be doing 5 iterations or 7 iterations. So Jira is having the facility to add our planned task as per the iteration. Multiple iteration we can manage there. So it's not like ADO board, we have only one sprint is visible. Here on the Jira board, we will be able to weave multiple iterations also. We can plan, and one last iteration will be there for the improvement. So everything we can well ahead plan and bring it from. We usually use the Miro board for PI planning. So all that content can be brought onto the Jira board, and again, team will be having the clarity on what has been planned, what is the next task they can pick. That also facility is there on the Jira. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, shall we move to the
Yeah. Yeah.
next one? Okay.
Yeah.
So next one is, let's say during a sprint retrospective, two of your team members had a disagreement about the root
Yeah.
cause of a recurring issue. So
Root cause
how
of
you are
that.
going to facilitate a kind of resolution, and you have
Hmm.
to ensure that the perspective of both of the people are going to be heard, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a tricky situation. So how you are going to manage it?
Yeah. It's really very tricky situation because we need to understand from both the perspective, and like if we take anything, if we say anything which is against to other person, then it's very difficult to like maintain their morale in the team and keep them satisfied. So that's a biggest challenge most of the time we face on in our scrum team. So in this situation, what I do is like we initially initiate this in the retrospective. We let the individual speak, and here it is very important to set the ground to mention them that retrospective is not for the argument or not for blaming somebody. Retrospective is one of the ceremony which is useful for improving what good work we have done, what mistakes we have done, how we can improve. So it is applicable to the entire team members. So whatever the best practices we have done, whatever mistakes we have done, we have the opportunity to correct in retrospective. And here everybody is respectable, and everybody's voice is heard in retrospective. So here, one more ground we need to set is like we can one by one should be given opportunity to speak. We cannot interfere others' opinion. Everybody's opinion is we respect everybody's opinion here. So in this situation, we heard from first person like what are their problems, what they are facing in the team, why they feel like they are not agreeing with others, why the disagreements are there. We will be completely hearing from both the parties, and then the next steps comes is like we need to have the data in hand. We need to have the scenarios or data in hand. As a scrum master, I'm not the one who will be making the decisions or who will be providing the solutions. It is the individuals. We will be facilitating the individuals to come up with their problems and the solutions also. The decision should come from the team, the solution should come from the team. We are not supposed to impose any of the decisions or solution to the team. So that's I usually follow, and that's what Scrum also says. We are facilitators, we are not the decision makers. Hence, when they say from their side, and when they come up with the data from their side, they should be able. we should facilitate for them to become capable enough of taking the decision by looking at the data. So that's how I facilitate that. When the data is there in front of us, then there will not be much arguments, and there will be, we need to facilitate a common conclusion. And sometimes they have to agree with others also. When we have the data in front of us, they have to agree with whatever is the right. And always it cannot be right, so it can, like, what is the best way, what is best for the product or the team, we can select. So team will be coming up when we give the open, when we provide them the path for the open discussion, and providing their opinions. Yeah, that's how I achieve in my team always, like hearing to them and respecting their opinion, and addressing it calmly, and letting them take their own decisions on their own by looking at the facts and the data. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
You're done. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. Okay, so let's move on. And the next question is on the conflict part. So let's say you encounter a situation where the product owner and the developers have a conflicting priorities that going
Yeah.
to affect the sprint progress. So how
Yeah.
we are going to meditate, or how we are going to help these two people to resolve this kind of conflict, and you have to ensure that there is a productive outcome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, how you are going to work with these two yeah, personalities, developer and product owner?
Yeah. Both are very important team players for our team. So we need to foster again the open communication for them, and we need to align on that what is the shared goal for us, why we are having these conflicts here. So we need to again hear from both the parties, like from PO also, what is their opinion and why developers are not agreeing to them. So we need to guide both of them towards a shared goal, understanding the priorities. Yes, of course, PO is the one who is giving us the priority for the work, but priority for Scrum team to become successful is what the Scrum Master will be facilitating to them. Okay, so we need to understand here, like whether PO is only focused on the delivery, whether he is understanding the Scrum framework or the velocity of the team, and why team is not able to pick the work, what he is mentioning. Most of the times we see why the disagreement comes is like PO will be very aggressive most of the time. So they will be focusing on customer satisfaction. So they will be saying that like let's deliver as soon as possible. Most of the work let's deliver as soon as possible. But here, equally, we need to check. So whether team is capable, whether we have that velocity in our team to intake that much of work which PO is mentioning. So there we need to set the rules for both of the members, that whatever is the defined capacity in our Scrum framework or in our Scrum board, that much only we will be able to intake. Okay, so when we say that like work is limited here, then next comes to the priority of the work. Yes, of course, when it is priority, it is PO only who have to prioritize the work for us, who have to define the goal for the sprint. Then at that time, so development a development team member, when we have given the facility for the development team member to work as per their available capacity, so they should be now aligning with the product owner to understand the priority, to understand what is the importance of that work for the customer, and how happy they will be. So this development member should be understanding. And the next step comes is like when we have defined the priority, the complexity, the technical challenges. Their PO needs to hear to the development members. This is how I usually facilitate the conversation between them. So wherever the PO have to give their inputs, they have to give, and the development member have to intake that, respect it, and work as per that. And wherever development members are giving their opinion for the technical challenges, or as I mentioned, the complexity. So PO also have to hear this and understand their challenges, what they are facing in the team. So here, there's one more thing we usually say, that like Moscow is one of the prioritization technique we mention most of the time. Most of the people might be knowing it, like when we define the work, right? So we mention it like must have, should have, could have, and won't have. Like this, we usually differentiate our work. to help the team members to understand and see which work items are like non-negotiable and which can be adjusted. So this prioritization technique really helps to team make differentiation. So I have also implemented this. Like this will be very useful for all of us uh, to understand like which needs to be done, which cannot be avoided, which cannot be negotiated. This will help us. And the next one, we need to check that technical depth versus the future delivery. So when the PO is mentioning that like delivery is low and he's unhappy, he's dissatisfied with the team's delivery, we need to check that what is the reason behind it, whether it is because of the technical depth, the team is not able to deliver on time, or it is because of the complexity of the work, team is not able to deliver. So we usually understand from the development members, and then we facilitate this conversation also between the PO and development team member. And the most important thing is the MVP. This usually will be defined by the PO itself. And so when they define multiple MVPs, so team together will, when we are doing the grooming or the planning session, the team together will be checking that what is that smallest and the most valuable set of feature that can be delivered within this sprint, within a short span. So those also the discussions we need to facilitate to them so that there will not be any disagreements or arguments between PO or the development team members, or there will not be any dissatisfaction, because these are all the facts what we have facilitated during the conversation. Then definitely other person will understand, they will come to a common conclusion. And yeah, as like all we do, like sometimes they have to compromise also because the fact is in front of them. So this provides this facilitation of the open communication. So this provides every team member, PO, developer, the flexibility and the compromise as well. Yeah, thank you, Sunil.
Wonderful, Preeti. Great. So, yeah, friends, we are halfway through our session. And if you are still here, it means you are enjoying this content. It means this is valuable for you. So, I've seen no reason that why you would not subscribe and motivate us by hitting that like button. So, let me take a pause. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and then we move on. Let's take a pause. Okay, so now that you have done it, let's move on to our next question. So next question is on JQL. So let's say you are responsible for generating different project reports and dashboard, with the help of JQL. So can you describe that how you would going to set up these different reports to provide some meaningful insight for the stakeholder at various levels? So I think that's very important and crucial question, and most of the Scrum Master struggle here. So yeah, over to you.
That's true. You rightly said, because most of the Scrum Masters struggle here because of not understanding what are the needs of the stakeholders. We cannot simply, like what we think on the reports, we cannot simply generate those reports. We need to understand what are the needs of the stakeholders, team members, and the management. What are they looking on the facts? So we need to focus on that and create or generate the reports based on that. And we need to focus more on the task progress, bottlenecks, and like individual team performances. So when we focus on this and generate a report, we will be able to improve more on this. Like if team is lagging, we are underperforming or lagging, or we are not able to do the delivery on time. So by these reports, we will be able to come to know that where we are lagging. Is it tasks are not progressing, or if there are any bottlenecks, any risks are there, or so any individual or team member is not performing well. So as per the whatever has been assigned versus the delivery, so they are underperforming based on this. So these reports will be helpful. These are the main things we keep in our mind when we generate the reports. And the first report usually we focus on for the project leads or agile coaches. So why these reports are important? What are these different reports are like team velocity and sprint progress, backlog grooming, and impediments. So based on these, we take insight from these ceremonies, and then based on this we will be generating the reports, which gives us an insight for uh, these processes. So this is the one thing we keep in mind when we are submitting any report to project leads and agile coaches. I'll reiterate this. So we need to keep in mind, we need to take the insights from the team velocity, sprint progress, backlog grooming, and the impediments. Okay, and the next comes is like when we are submitting the reports to executives or the senior leadership members. So they will be focusing more on the overall project health and so the timelines and what are how much risk, what were the risks, and like strategic alignment is there or not in the team. They will be focused on these factors. So we need to keep these factors in our mind and generate the multiple reports. I'll go ahead and explain about different reports also which we'll be having. And choosing the metrics. So we need to choose the key metrics also for the team, KPIs, and the key metrics also for the team. So what we do is like we will be differentiating the metrics into multiple levels. Like team level metrics are there, project level metrics are there, executive level metrics are there. So we differentiate this. Again, as I said, like team level metrics, we will focus on some of the factors and we'll be generating the reports. When we go for the leadership level or something, then project level metrics we will be focusing and we'll be generating those reports and submitting to them. And executive levels, there are different reports. So we take the levels or the leadership level or the stakeholders we keep in mind, we check the factors, and then based on that we will be creating and generating the reports. So when I say like team level metrics, so what is the team level metrics? What team will be looking into for team? What we need to look is sprint progress, like completed versus the remaining work, and planned versus the completed work, assigned versus the completed work. So this will give us help on how the team is progressing, how much is in progress, how much is still left in the to do, how much is completed. So these reports will give us the insights of the work completion. That will help to display in front of the team and tell them that we are performing like very good or not, low performing is there. How we can focus on the improvement points based on these reports here for the team level. And when we go for the project level matrices, so metrics, there we focus on the sprint burn down chart. So what is sprint burn down chart is like how work is progressing across each sprint. So that we will be focusing cycle time, time taken to complete the issue from start to finish. So this is called the cycle time. And one more is the lead time, the time from the issue creation till the completion. How much time we have taken, the lead time will be giving us epics and releases progress. So and backlog health and so assigned versus the completed one. So these are the multiple reports which will be generating for the project level, because they are more focused on the timeline and the health of the project. And yeah, they'll be checking sometimes like how many blockers we are facing in this project for the delivery of this project. So we keep these for factors for the project level and we generate it. Yeah. And the last one comes like executive level metrics also we will be focusing. So what is this is like high level percentage completion. So overall project, that how much we have completed, and so how many risks and impediments we face to complete this project. And major thing is the milestone tracking. When we do a project planning, we use the tool as MPP, and we will be doing a project planning as well. There we usually define the milestones and the dates also for those milestones. Here, this report will help us to understand how much percentage of that milestone we have achieved, how much is left. So based on that percentage, we will come to know that like whether we are like going fast or we are lagging, or we still need to bring the improvements in the team, or whether we require additional velocity in the team. We'll be able to take those decisions by looking at milestone tracking. And the very important thing for the management required is budget health. That also we have the option. So these all are the major factors which we'll be concentrating on. In short, I can say that sprint burnt on chart and the issue statics. So we filter the results, and we check for the pie charts, bar charts we will be generating. We have multiple options in the reports. So like how we need to present it to the leadership is more important. Whether they are more visual, we will be able to present by using the pie charts and the bar chart, or more data we need to show. So we need to take the decision based on that. We need to choose the best reports for us and present to our leadership team and the team members. Yeah, those are my thoughts, Nan.
Wonderful, Preeti. Again, thank you for that elaborated answer. Wonderful. Okay, let's move on. So next question is that your team is underperforming based on the velocity matrix over the last couple of sprints now.
Yeah.
So, and you have joined this team recently. So how you are going to approach this situation to identify the root cause, the underlying issue, and how you're going to do that improvement over the period of time.
Hmm. Yeah. So if we join newly, right, it will definitely take time for us at the initial stage to analyze that what is the available velocity of the team. And as we just now spoke about the reports, right, we have one more powerful report which helps us to review and analyze the velocity data. So what is the trend of the Scrum team, how they are performing, what is the velocity? So we usually will be looking at the velocity trend. So over the past of usually we take 3 sprints as example for us. So over past 3 sprints of how the team is performing, what is the velocity of the team, that we will be analyzing. And we need to check that like whether there is a sudden drop in the velocity or gradually it is getting dropped. So as like whether team is consistently underperforming. So we need to understand this, like whether gradually it has dropped off. Is it because the team member has gone out, or team member is not at all performing? Is there any lack in the training? So those we will be analyzing, looking into those reports. If team is gradually consistently underperforming, right, there also we try to understand from individuals, from the tech leads, that what is the support the team members require to bring up the velocity, to go for the faster delivery and all. So we will be checking this. And so how we will be checking this is we will be engaging the team members usually in the retrospective only. So we will be facilitating again the open communication in the team, asking like why there is a lack in the velocity in the team, why team is struggling, what are the risks they are facing in the team, what are the challenges they are facing. So this kind of open communication discussions we will be facilitating in the team. And so we usually like review the sprint planning and execution as well. So like at the time of planning, so whether team is not having good clarity on the whatever task has been assigned to them, whether they need additional support, grooming is happening properly or not, due to lack of understanding of the requirement, whether they are committing and not able to fulfill that. So those factors also we'll be checking. Yeah, as I said, like grooming we'll be doing, so we will be inspecting the backlogs as well. So whether we have sufficient information in the backlogs, so user story whatever has been defined, proper acceptance criteria is there, and whether it is ready to be picked for the sprint. And without the proper information, if we are going to assign, definitely there will be a lot of time taken to understand the task and then start working on it. These are the basic mistakes which we will be used most of the teams will be doing when they are doing the planning. So because maybe tech leads are having the more clarity, but the one who's actually working on the tasks are not having the clarity. If they don't have the clarity, if we are assigning the task to them, it's very difficult to make them understand during the sprint, because they are going to consume most of the time in understanding the work and then start the work. Hence, it is important. The grooming session is very, very important. It should not be happening during the planning. So it should be separately, it is conducted, conveyed to the team members. What is the acceptance criteria? What is this requirement is looking for? How it is going to be achieved? What are the technologies, tools are required? How many members are required to achieve this? Everything should be discussed. It should be transparent to each and every team member. It should be clear to them, and then only we can mark that user story ready for to intake for the sprint. Then only we should intake that work in our sprint, and we should split the tasks accordingly, make it a smaller task which is achievable in 1 or 2 days, make them easier, provide them necessary tools and guidance required, the trainings required before they pick the task. And then we can say that it is ready for the sprint and they will be able to do it. This is how I analyze their work, where they are facing the challenges, and we try to facilitate all these for the team members. And major factor is like external factors also. One of the major thing it is, uh, some people are shared resource in the team. Some are, though they are not shared, but they might be having very good knowledge, so hence other team might be taking their help unknowingly, they might be spending more time in helping others, or working more for other teams. So these also we need to cross check whether we have the external factors getting impacted for the team members. It's scrum master responsibility to protect them, for them, from all the external factors or work getting impacted, their work, the things which are getting impacted for their work or their improvement. And we need to facilitate the good working environment also by providing the training materials and all everything. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Wonderful, Preeti. Yeah, great. Uh, okay, let's move on. So next question is, let's say your one of your client or a key stakeholder is not satisfied with the progress of the project, and the client is having a serious concerns about the uh, whatever they have seen during the sprint review. So they're not happy about it. So how you are going to manage these kind of feedback? Because after getting these kind of feedback, the team morale is also very low.
Yeah.
So we have to keep a balance between the clients and the stakeholders and your team, and so how you are going to work in these kind of situations?
Yeah, this is a very tricky situation also, because here we need to have a balanced approach, because neither we can blame the stakeholders nor we can blame the team members. Even the team members also will be putting equal efforts. So first, when they say, when they give the feedback that they are not satisfied, we need to acknowledge that, and then we need to understand why they are not satisfied, where our team is lagging. We cannot blame the team, but we need to understand where we are lagging, what are the improvement areas we need to focus for the team. And so when we are discussing with the customer, right, so we need to come up with a constructive dialogues in front of them. Like we need to yeah, tell them that yes, we understand your concerns. Yes, yeah, you might be not satisfied because of these factors. So we understand them. We can feel the pain what you are suffering through. Definitely, we have to come up with that, and then we need to gradually ask them, like whether they can help us in clarify that where are the areas where they think that we need the improvement, and which are the areas which have made them feel more dissatisfied. So we need to majorly understand from them. And so the basic thing is like when we are acknowledging the dissatisfaction from the customer, so equally we need to understand team morale also here. So we need to have the empathy for the team also. We need to be transparent from both the sides. We need to again facilitate here also a communication for the team members to understand directly from the customer. When we do a sprint review, definitely the team member will be giving the demo and stakeholder will be providing their feedbacks. So here we need to establish more communication to understand in depth that where we are going wrong, why they are not satisfied from our work. Sometimes team feels that yes, we have met all the requirement, it is as per the acceptance criteria, but still they say that customer is not happy. So we need to deeply have the conversation with them, understand where what is their expectation exactly. Okay, so if the expectations are realistic, yeah, realistic means like whatever capacity we have, in our capacity we'll be providing the deployment. So realistically, if they are expecting the deployment, yes, early deployment is acceptable, but over commitment is not acceptable. So if they are also understanding this, so we need to make this understand double by to the stakeholders that within the available capacity, definitely we'll be providing the early delivery. And still further we need to understand whether the whatever we have developed the code, whether that is wrong. So like that deep conversation we should be having, and we need to propose a different new plan to them, that how we are going to improve on this, how we can make the customer satisfied. So we will be proposing the plan also to them. We will be having the open communication between the development team and the customer. Then we will be having the internal discussions to come up with the plans to improve on those points which they have provided the feedback to us. And equally we need to maintain the team confidence as well, by saying that yes, team has really done well, so team has put a lot of efforts, but still there might be some areas where we are lagging. So we have the corners for the improvement and we need to focus on this. That's how we need to maintain the team morally, and equally we need to satisfy the customer as well with our good work and the early deployment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. Let's move on. So next question is, let's say uh, you are assigned a project and where you have to streamline the project workflow for efficiency. So if you can describe a situation where you have successfully implemented a new workflow and the impact which it had on the team, so that will be great.
Yeah. Best example I can say is, as I mentioned, DevOps team, which I have worked in past, right? So there we were facing a lot of issues in bringing the team getting aligned and make it collaborate more collaborative. So that's where, because both the teams were working in silos. Whenever there was an issue reported by the customer, so the ops team used to say that no, the dev team will be handling this issue, and the dev team used to ignore mentioning that it is ops team's responsibility. So by this we used to struggle a lot understanding who is the owner for this, and when we need to deliver this, how important this. So we used to get a lot of scoldings from PO also, that why this is not being picked up. And also then what I did is, like, I facilitated I implemented a DevOps team together, being coming to in same meetings and discussing it. So I invited them for all the ceremonies which dev team is doing. That is everyday stand up. They also should be there. And one more thing is I implemented is the Kanban board. Whenever the issues are coming, right? So we used to keep it in the Kanban board. I requested them put it on this Kanban board during the daily stand up. At the end, we will discuss what are the issues are there on the Kanban board, and there itself we can discuss and conclude that who is owning this issue. So it will be clear for us, like whether dev team have to, whether it's a new requirement and dev team have to pick it, or it's actually an issue operation team have to pick it. And we used to involve them in backlog refinement as well. So because a lot of issues are there or bugs are there, so maybe while raising it, some people may choose the different status for that. So we used to, when we do the grooming, right, so we used to differentiate what are the actual issues and who need to pick again, who is responsible for this. So these two majorly helped the team to pick the work effectively and deliver it on time. These are the two. And one more was, like, again inviting them for the retrospective, so that why team members are like not effective, not picking their work, and not able to deliver on time. So there we come to know that what are the differences they were having in the team, what are the misunderstandings they were having in the team, and that helped both the teams to work collaboratively and deliver it faster, achieve it faster. So that was the main thing which I implemented in my team.
Wonderful, Preeti. Yeah, great. I think with this, we come to an end of this session. So we still have a lot of questions, friends, but then we're going to cover in some other session. I think this is almost 1 hour session, which is there. So thank you, Preeti, for this great, enjoyable, valuable session. I thoroughly enjoy it. And friends, we hope that you found this session helpful. So don't forget to leave a comment and like this video to show your support. Your feedback help us to create more such valuable content for you in the future. And if you're new here, please subscribe and become a part of CareersTalk family. So thank you and see you in our next session. Yeah. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Sunan. Thank you all. Bye bye.